Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Bishop Darrell Watkins, and let's queer up faith. Texas church turns hate into pride with bold new mural. Vandals in Austin, Texas tore down a pride flag and spray painted hateful messages on Life in the City United Methodist Church. But instead of bowing to intimidation, the LGBTQ-affirming congregation responded with color, creativity, and community. Early this month, church leaders reported that their Progress Pride flag had been ripped down and that vandals left a message on the building reading, quote, "Pride was the first sin," end quote. Alongside it, a cross with 3 crossbars, the bottom one askew, was also painted. In the statement issued, Pastor Glenn Luhrs said, quote, "This act was meant to threaten the mission we hold sacred, offering the radically inclusive love of God in Christ for the health and wholeness of mind, body, and spirit. Sadly, this is not the first time hateful rhetoric has appeared on our walls, and it comes at a time when our city is already hurting," end quote. Luhrs pointed to a recent public assault of a transgender woman and her friends at nearby Barton Springs, noting, quote, "These are not isolated events. They are part of a growing pattern of violence and dehumanization targeting LGBTQIA+ people and other marginalized communities. Let us be clear. Life in the City Church stands firm in our call to love our neighbor without exception or condition," end quote. However, instead of dwelling on the hate, the church launched a creative restoration project the very next day. Volunteers painted 2 vertical Progress Pride flags on either side of the entrance, added transgender flag colors above the doorway, and incorporated a rainbow mural alongside the church's logo. By Sunday morning's 11:15 a.m. service, the vandalism was gone, replaced by a bold public statement of love, resilience, and pride. Yes. First of all, Austin is one of those oases in an otherwise horrible part of the world.
Bubble.
Yeah. Right. But even in there, because people can come from everywhere. I mean, There's the amazing University of Texas. There's also the horrible legislature of Texas, all in the same all in the same city. So these things do occur, but this is the kind of city also where these kinds of churches fight back, but they do it with love. They do it with light. They do it with creativity. And so that they took the one amazing flag. I love the Progress Pride flag. It's maybe my favorite. But so it was torn down. So what they did is they painted 2 and put trans colors above that. That'll learn you, darn you. I mean, I love that so much, because they're saying no matter what, we affirm the sacred value of all people. We see something good in everybody, and your hatred isn't going to change that. In fact, you've just made us make that statement more boldly. And so bless them. I'm so glad for them and others like them. And hopefully seeing it in Austin will help somebody in Beaumont do it. It will help somebody in Longview. Will help somebody in Tyler.
I always like to see these vandals get, put in their place and have the exact opposite happen that they wanted to happen.
Right.
They wanted to try and destroy this community or make them, feel bad about themselves. Instead, they became more resilient and more unified and more stronger in their belief.
And turn it into a feel-good story.
Exactly. And,
it really did dress up the entryway.
It was beautiful.
It was beautiful. It wasn't that it was not pretty before, but it was just a little stale.
Right.
Like pop.
What do you think the significance, though, of the Orthodox cross was? I mean, I know the Eastern Orthodox tends to be sort of more
might have been their faith tradition, they
might not even know what it was
usually. But I'm thinking these are morons who just copied something that probably didn't mean, because first of all, the once or whatever, the one and the st and the sin and the big N with the sin. So these aren't geniuses we're looking at here, but that's one of my targets. That's one of my when you're targeted, I'm not targeted. Triggered, yes. That is one of my triggers, this whole pride foolishness, because when they said the first is pride, no. the seven deadly sins, which is a Greek philosophy thing, not the Bible, but whatever. Right. The sin of pride is the sin of arrogance, the sin of thinking you're better than others, which is the same fucking sin that they are committing every time they say gay people, trans people, blah, 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 drag people. They are there. That's the arrogance. The pride that oppressed people have to embrace to survive is just gratitude for being who you are, celebrating your uniqueness. The pride that the Greeks considered sinful was arrogance. Gay pride isn't saying we're better than you. Gay pride is saying you are no better than me.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank goodness I have never suffered the sin of pride.
I also personally want to thank Texas for making me feel better about living in Florida.
That's a feat right there.
I think it can tie in the last two stories together. This is a great story about the flyover states, as I mentioned earlier, and they're just amazing gay people throughout this country, and we just saw evidence of it right here, straight and gay, who came together to put this church back together in such a short notice. And again, that's just a feel-good story, and it's just nice to have something that we're constantly talking about these things that happen, but here's a community that came together in no time and put something together and made something positive out of it.
I came out in 1986 at 19 years old in Arkadelphia, Arkansas. It was a community of me.
You were the only gay in the village.
It felt like it was a community of you. We all knew that in those days.
Actually, you do find your people. And my people were we would now call them non-binary. We didn't have the words back then. And a lot of very brave lesbians. You would have one bar in the county. There was no lesbian bar and gay bar and drag bar and leather bar. We had the bar. And that was the one for the county. But that's where, and then I spent 10 years in Dallas. And so, I wound up in New York, I wound up in Fort Lauderdale, I wound up in Cambridge, Massachusetts. But before that, there was Arkadelphia, Arkansas, and Dallas, Texas. And I found community. And in the 90s, Dallas was a very organized queer community.
Right.
So I think we do a disservice to just assume that people we're going to find each other, even in rural places. We find each other.
So if you're watching in Arkadelphia or in Beaumont or wherever you are, we know you're there.
Exactly, because we were there. And Eureka Springs, Arkansas is actually a fabulous queer community.
Well, and you heard it here.
From this hillbilly.
That's right.
From this queer hillbilly.
A hillbilly bishop.
Yeah. Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
That's a new business card right there.
Well, that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There's no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.